creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
This is the Christmas drone of Santa Claus.
My wife, when I met her, she goes, your whole family's using you. Let's go to dinner, and I don't want you to pay the bill. I'm like, I always pay the bill. She's like, but let's just not pay it one time. And so there's like 20 of us at dinner, and she said, we'll individually get our own checks tonight. Everybody looked at me like this at the end of the table. As I got my check, I felt really weird. But my wife, Jacqueline's like, we're going to see. Everybody paid their bill. They got up. Nobody even gave me a hug, and they walked out. My wife goes, this is how things have been going in your life. They say what you don't have as a kid, you crave as an adult. So I thought when I made a lot of money, I was like, dude, I'm just going to buy everything for everybody. And then everybody's going to love me. And then my wife's like, dude, you can't buy people's love.
Well, you know, family is family.
How did you plan that trip to Indonesia? Because that's the one that broke records. Millions of people tuned in live. Like,
well, I mean, Indonesia was just like, it's just the Indonesia people support. Shout out to all my Indonesian people out there, Santai. But
Santai.
Their support was just out of this world. I never seen support like that in a day in my life.
Yeah.
Between any country.
Indonesia stream. Can you just break down what's going on here?
Look at what the fuck?
Well, listen, when I do my IRL streams, shit get wild and shit get crazy. So I pop this, that's like 1 hour in my stream.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even think probably 1 hour, maybe 40 minutes, for maybe 30, 40 minutes into that stream. So once I pop that stream, shit gets turned. Everything gets crazy. Everybody turns up, and everybody, they knew where I was at. Everybody pulled up and they have fun. We turn up.
You know, I don't watch him, but it looks like the young generation of my people love this guy.
What does it look like when you're called by God? It looks lonely, because you're going to lose everything that doesn't belong. There's nothing glamorous about being called by God. You're going to go through some painful experiences. Your life is going to be disassembled, and only God can put it back together. You're going to go through seasons of heartache. You're going to go through seasons of discouragement. You're going to go through periods that you don't want nothing to do with it. You're going to ask God, remove this from me. I don't want it no more. But no matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to escape God's plan for your life. God's word is going to be your truth, and you can't get away from it. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try to think like the world and act like the world, it's never going to be enough. You're going to have a unique perspective that everything in the natural is a byproduct of the spiritual. You're going to be operating on your own dimension. People around you are not going to understand you. People in your past can't go along with you on this journey. They don't have this understanding. You're not going to have common ground in conversations. And that's one of the hardest things about this, is you don't have anybody to talk to. There's nobody there around you can have a conversation with about what you're going through. You are going to have to totally rely on God. And He's got you in this position for exactly that reason. He's preparing you for your future. Some of you are saying, well, it's been 1 year, it's been 2 years, it's been 3 years, and I don't see a benefit of this. Nothing's changed for me. I haven't found anybody. I haven't had really anything, big positive happen in my life. What you have to do is stop for 1 minute and look back at your past and realize how far you've come. You've lost a lot of things, but you have grown so much spiritually. And that has to be your gauge of success. You can't look at your today. You can't look at the environment you're in right now as success. Past and see how far you've come. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're walking through, you have to understand something. God does love you. He is a good
Amen.
God, and He has a plan for your life. And your future is going to be fantastic. Your future is going to be better than anything you could ever have created or put together on your own.
My life changed at 40. I no longer care about anything but building my relationship with God.
So much has happened in the past 24 hours, it's insane. Police revealed that yesterday's school shooter is a 15-year-old girl, and that they are aware of a possible 6-page manifesto that is now circulating online. Russia's top general in charge of the country's nuclear, biological, and chemical protection troops was assassinated after a bomb hidden in an electric scooter blew up. The Ukrainian intelligence agency claims that they are behind the hit. Trump had his first press conference since winning the election, and spot for TikTok when being asked what he's going to do about the ban. He also addressed the drones, saying that something strange is going on and that the government knows exactly what they are. Then, only hours later, the FBI, DOD, FAA, and DHS released a joint statement saying that there's nothing anomalous about these drones and that they are simply a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircrafts, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported for drones. The French island of Mayotte was hit with the worst storm in nearly a century, ending the lives of hundreds of people and destroying over 100,000 homes. Ukraine said that North Koreans took heavy casualties over the weekend. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake hit Vanuatu, triggering landslides, crushing cars and destroying homes. And a senior Palestinian official said that the ceasefire between Gaza and Israel is in the decisive and final phase. Israel's defense minister also said that an agreement.
As a Christian, I'm just sitting back, chilling, eating popcorn, watching the story unfold, waiting for our Lord to return.
This is not chapped lips. These are also not chapped lips. You could smother these cracks with chapstick and it's not going to get any better and might even get worse, turn into something like this, because these are not chapped lips. You may believe me at this point, but these lip corners are not chapped. Most people with these cracks at the corner of their lips just think that they have really dry and chapped lips. They actually have something called angular cheilitis. Angular cheilitis will often start off as just a single dry crack, but once that crack forms, bacteria and yeast that live on the skin around the mouth get into the cracks and basically cause infection and inflammation that won't get better with even the best lip balms and ointments. Usually this is caused by either staph bacteria or candida yeast.
Ew.
Angular cheilitis usually clears
Ew.
up pretty quickly with the right
That's
treatment.
gross.
If the cause is from yeast, then over-the-counter clotrimazole cream is very effective. However, staph bacteria angular cheilitis clears up best with prescription antibiotic ointment. Chronic angular cheilitis can be associated with a number of nutrient deficiencies like iron and vitamin B2. So if you have this and it's just not going away, it is good to see a doctor or dermatologist.
I thought it was cold sores.
He's upset. He's upset that somebody would be allowed to do this. They would make a mockery of the system like this. He's upset that this distracts and dissuades real victims from coming forward. He's upset that his kids and his family have to deal with this. He's upset, and he should be upset.
Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate the two of them, he didn't really, in his statement, specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say.
He is not only upset, he's guilty. And for him to deny being friends with Diddy is a bad move.
Went outside to prove my point, and this is over my house right now. What is that?
This is a video of the Morris County drones with characteristic triangle lights on the back or underneath.
My wife and I were.
Those are drones prepping you for the Project Blue Beam. It gets better. Just wait.
Hello, I call 911 right now. I call 911, okay? I call 911.
That is crazy, man. What's going on in Canada? I mean, you are allowed to protect yourself. Do you really need permission?
164 sightings of SUV-sized drones have been recorded across New Jersey, some of which have even been over infrastructure. This heat map shared with us by local police highlights the of the mysterious drone activity across. The drones have caused widespread concern across the nation as the government failed to provide any concrete answers.
The most advanced country in the world, the best intelligence agency, and still no explanation, huh?
Wisconsin Christian school shooter Natalie Samantha, after she killed a fellow student and a teacher. The 15-year-old, who ended her life after unleashing the massacre at a study hall at Abundant Life Christian School, also injured 6 others, including 2 students who were in critical condition. Natalie primarily lived with her 42-year-old father, Jeff Ruppnow, as her parents are divorced. He is cooperating with police as they try to figure out the motive behind the tragedy. The police chief in Madison said they're trying to put together a timeline of Natalie's last hours before she went to the school.
I don't know why, and I felt like if we did know why, we could stop these things from happening.
He also said investigators were aware of a manifesto, if you want to call it that, or some type of letter, posted by someone who might have known the shooter. 2 prominent cases of parents facing criminal charges after their children are accused in school shootings have come in Michigan and Georgia in recent years. At this time, Chief Barnes says, it doesn't appear the parents were negligent. This is a breaking story. Follow Daily Mail for updates.
Makes me wonder what her life was like, for her to do what she did. So young. My heart goes out to everyone.
After watching this, you can't tell me parallel universes don't exist. Check this out.
Okay, I'm confused about this backyard here. Like, this is supposed to be my backyard, right?
Okay.
And then when I go downstairs, I know it's not going to be the same.
Yo, watch this.
I'm literally confused.
Can anyone explain that?
I swear.
Stay weird, y'all.
Interesting.
I do this, give them the signs that I'm good. Hey, y'all see me start taking pictures? They're like, oh shit, she giving them signs. I'm like, my eye. They be like, yeah, we got influence.
We got her, we got her.
Gonna get him.
Just every now and then.
Every now and then.
Every now and just.
Oh,
we got
okay. And they'll contact you.
Is that what Ice Spice was trying to do at the Super Bowl?
It's not a try. She did. And you know what? And I don't care what nobody say, because I'm always right. She's an industry plant. It's common. You came from nowhere. Your little short...
Remind me again, why is she relevant? And by the way, Black China became a born-again Christian.
Tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down. Whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine, or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting the full deal, and the military is on.
So Iran has better technology than the US. This dude. Oh my God. This is a government official. I think they're trying to start a war over Iran over their own drones.
One of those orbs just shot down a drone.
I'm about to show you footage from Phoenix. Something else is going on, guys. Why is this happening at 2 o'clock in the morning?
He's like right there with it. Go, oh, he's like right on it. Ooh, 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 ooh. That, whatever it was, just shut down the drone, if that was a drone.
I told y'all those drones were there for those orbs. That's why the drones have been in the sky, because of the orbs. What are the orbs? Fuck the drones. The drones are ours. What are the orbs? I'll tell you this.
Fallen angel.
They sure as hell do not seem to be human.
Okay, I hear people saying that the orbs are plasmoids, and according to NASA, some are sentient.
I gotta know if anybody else feels this way. Almost as if we are literally approaching something much bigger than we'll probably ever imagine. And right now it's almost like a calm before the storm. Things are good. You see people out shopping, doing their thing, having a good time, and you're sitting here wondering, does anybody else feel the way that I'm feeling right now? And the feeling is honestly just this, like, I don't know what's going to change, but I know something is definitely, without question, going to change. And how I've been living, what I've been doing, how I've been operating my life has got me here, but it's not going to get me there when that time comes. And there's been signs within my body, within my motivation, within my mind of it speaking to me. Like, hey, you thinking that money and business and your purpose and all these things that you've been working so hard towards, yeah, they're important right now, but they may not be as important in the future. Like, you doing all this, and I'm getting the signs to slow down on so many different areas, because it's almost like this divine intelligence is speaking to me of like, hey, it's okay to rest a little bit more. It's okay not to be so driven or so type A. It's okay to be more internal right now. It's okay not to go out and, have all these ambitions and all these different things, because whatever I am, that this intelligence, I am preparing you. And I don't really know what else to do. And like when I need to rest and I should be doing, listen to it more. I don't know, because it's speaking to me loudly now. The body's speaking to me, the environment's speaking to me, the energy, the vibes, they're all speaking to me that things are changing and that I naturally need to change as well. And if I fight the resistance, I'm going to feel it. And I have been feeling it every time I try to fight it, every time I try to go back on and do these old patterns, be these old ways of how it used to be. It's not allowing me to stay that way. It's been interesting. So, I've made a few videos about this, but it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So I want to just keep putting this out to see, like, what are you feeling? How is your life being different right now? Do you feel the shift that's happening, but that we haven't been able to see yet? Like, what is it exactly that you are feeling that may be similar to this? I'm super curious. So let me know.
Yes, I cannot talk to anybody about it because they act like I'm crazy or blowing things out proportion.
That's kind of cool. Look.
What do you think that is?
Can you hear me?
Creepy.
Jesus loves me. Oh, you know Jesus. You know Jesus. Jesus is awesome, isn't he? Yes, he is. God is good. God is good. God is good.
I feel like carbon monoxide detectors aren't push and talk as much as smoke detectors, and they really should be.
Is going viral online. A police in Thailand arresting a cat for stealing
Hey!
fish. So there's the cat pinching a sneaky meal from a motorbike. Police weren't kidding around here when they
Aw.
pinched the furry felon. There we go. That's a disgraceful arrest. God, they really paraded him in front of the cameras, didn't they?
So who called the police, and who is the CEO that police station?
Look at this freaking thing right here. It's a portable photo room, and they charge hundreds to thousands of dollars to rent it for hours or days at a time. You could build this thing yourself, all in for a couple grand. These girls are renting them out to friends, parties, corporate events, farmers market fairs, you name it. Why does this idea work? Because people want Instagrammable experiences, and that's exactly what this provides. And because of the fact that most of the props are inflatable, you can move them anywhere you want to go. If I were going to start this business, list of every corporation within an hour of me and just start cold emailing people. Themselves, the employees walk in and then reach out to them after they see that, and your email will be 100 times more.
AI will eat this business.
Yes, it's true that we have been in contact with your government and heads of power. It is also true that agreements have been made and kept secret from your people. It is also true that in the past some of your people have lost their lives or have been badly hurt to protect the secret. Our hands had no part in this. We contacted your leaders because your planet is in grave trouble. Your leaders said the vast majority of your population wasn't ready for anything like us yet. So we made time agreements with your leaders as to when your people would be made aware of our presence. You have an overwhelming amount of nuclear and biological weapons, which include nuclear and biological contamination. Warning, it is almost to the point of being too late. There are better ways of deriving energy and food needs without causing your planet any damage. Those in power are aware of this.
Wait, aliens are more humane than our corporations? I want to change themes.
Syrian prisoner who was rescued from jail by CNN was actually Bashar al-Assad's intelligence
Ooh, he looks
officer
scary
who
here.
reportedly killed and tortured civilians. The man was discovered by CNN's chief international correspondent Clarissa Ward in an abandoned Syrian detention site last week. In a video that went viral, the inmate appeared astonished to see daylight as he claimed to be an ordinary citizen who had spent 3 months in an isolated prison cell.
Syria is free, he tells him. It's the first time
Back
he has heard
acting.
those words.
Now, a Syrian fact-checking organization has reported that the man in the clip was, in fact, Lieutenant Salama Mohammed Salama of the Syrian Air Force Intelligence. According to locals, Salama had been imprisoned for less than a month over cash he had allegedly. Locals showed Salama has confirmed that the man in the video was indeed the former intelligence officer associated with the deposed Syrian. Salama's current whereabouts are.
When I first saw the video, I could tell he was acting. He looked clean and had no injuries. So did they catch him or did he escape? Since when is 4 years a charge for murder?
1961 is the first time they've documented and told a story, painted, and pretty much said all of these eyewitnesses saw an event happening in the sky. There was a war in the sky. And that's what they said. They said there was war in the sky, but they couldn't, I guess, comprehend what was going on. All they said was there were shapes, rectangles, circles, squares, crosses, floating and hitting each other and exploding. And there was one specific that was like this. You see this? Yeah. And they said it would stay still in the sky while all of this was happening. Also, while all this was happening, certain shapes, once they were hit or once they were done moving, they would fall from the sky and drop into the village and explode. Now check this out. Where are all those artifacts though? That's a thing. Buried in the ground? I don't know. That's the only thing. Like there's.
It's in the Vatican. Just trust me, bro.
Nothing else exists in the universe except this trinity of forces, of fields.
I feel like that's something Tesla was also trying to point out.
Yes, he knew this secret, brother. See, Tesla knew about the longitudinal standing wave, the scalar wave. See, in society, we know a lot about the Hertzian wave, which was discovered by Hertz, and we call frequency Hertz, okay? Because we attribute this transverse wave, this vibration, which is a material wave of electricity, to Hertz. Yeah. But Tesla's wave was like this. It was a pulse, a horizontal pulse, and that's magnetism. You see, so magnetism, which is above electricity, is a spiritual force. Let me explain this. I'll get my whiteboard. 1 minute. Sure. You're going to love this because this is... Astrology is not just a branch of science all on its own and separate from all the rest. Astrology is theology. Krishna is in astrology. Astrology is the mother of all sciences, the science of light, Jyotish. And so, if we don't know astrotheology, astrology, theology, alchemy, chemistry, physics, gematria, and all of the sciences, we can never know these things. We will always be separated by degrees from the accurate knowledge of truth. So this world deals in facts. It doesn't deal in truths, and facts are not truth, and truth are not facts necessarily. And so truth is absolute and the ultimate, and that's what astrology teaches. It doesn't teach facts. It teaches truth. It teaches truths. And so what you have, we have dielectricity. That's the ether. That's what we call ether, okay? And this is black light, and Krishna is what color? Black. Okay. In the second Trinity, Krishna is blue. I'll explain that.
Yeah, because we always see him in a blue-skinned body.
Yes, but the original Krishna, like the original Jesus or the Mary, is a black. You'll always, everywhere you go, everywhere. You go to Catholic churches all over Europe, and you will see a black Jesus everywhere, harking back to the Krishna color of black, because black is the ether. It is the original.
Jesus was a Jew.
Very early in 2025, all hell is going to break loose. The volume of sightings, weird objects in the sky, it's off the charts. I am swamped by people sending me videos from all over the world. And it's not just in the United Kingdom. It's Russia, Kazakhstan, I cannot believe the volume of sightings that are going on
Wow.
in our skies. We are going to look back and we are going to say that the autumn of the drones was a turning point. There's consistent sightings of drones over military facilities. It sounds like nothing at the moment, but I wager it's going to turn out to be enormous. I think 2024 in future will be seen, ironically, as the calm before the storm. A reckoning is coming.
This is all by design. Project Bluebeam.
All the translations from Zechariah Sitchin are false. Do I believe the Anunnaki story? Well, I know the Anunnaki story that is being portrayed out there by people like Zechariah Sitchin and Billy Carson is complete nonsense. And how do I know that? Because I know the original story, the actual story from the Sumerian tablets. The Anunnakis were not aliens. They did not come down from heaven to earth in fiery rockets, and there was none of that. They were settlers that came in over the Taurus Mountains from Eurasia, from Europe. There have been archaeological finds like the Tartarian tablets, Proto-Sumerian, that predates the Sumerian in Sumer, in Mesopotamia, and it comes from the area around Hungary, Romania, and Eastern Europe in that region. They came down after a cataclysm, after something happened that wiped out civilization. That is actually in the story. They came down over the Taurus Mountains, came down into Mesopotamia and started large-scale irrigation projects and farming projects, and the locals came to know them as the Anunnaki. All the translations from Zechariah Sitchin are false. That is, they have been disproven by an actual Sumerian scholar that actually spoke Sumerian, Michael Heiser, Dr. Michael Heiser. He's now deceased. Zechariah Sitchin was not. He came from the London School of Economics. He was not a scholar of any way, shape, or form, especially not linguistically. He didn't even speak the language, and he made a lot of shit up. And I believe that he was a front man for something that was written for him that he popularized because he was playing some kind of role popularizing these things. People seized upon that story, they regurgitate it, they spit it out, and they pretend like they know what's going on, even though they've never read the original Sumerian. They have no idea how to translate the original Sumerian, and they have no idea what the real story was. They're just out there for clout.
Thank you for debunking this. I always expected they were decorating these stores.
With a very disturbing background that you wouldn't expect. In the video, it shows a man sitting by a Christmas tree opening up presents, and he's being recorded by his friend on a VHS camera because he wanted to film his friend's reaction to the presents. And in the video, you kind of see how like the guy opening the presents doesn't really want to be recorded, not showing any emotion.
Like he's not excited or happy about the gifts.
How come your light flashing on that? I don't know. How am I supposed to find out? MMA. What is it? Fucker.
Both these guys were criminals. They were convicted felons, and their plan was to break into a bunch of cabins and people's homes, especially during the wintertime, because a lot of people would not be at their cabins. They would travel for the holidays because it got too cold.
Wait, so the gifts they were opening were somebody else's and they had broken into their house.
And if you pay attention to the video, I'm gonna show you again. Yeah. You can see
the gun,
and the guy actually says one of the girls' names. They end up coming across a cabin that belonged to the Tidi family. There was a father, a wife, 2 daughters, and a grandmother. Around the same time that they broke into the house, they were out doing last-minute Christmas shopping. So when they broke into the house, they knew automatically.
Wow.
If you gave white people a reservation, let's say, and you gave them like a shitty part of the country, you carved out a piece of Nevada, just like, you know, the salt flats, like just the worst part of Nevada. None of this bullshit where we get free health care and free everything else. Just here you go. Here's your land. You have your own government. It's your own jurisdiction. You don't have to parasitically suck off everyone around you. It's just that this is a white ethno-state. Instead of the Navajo Nation, it's the white nation. You think there'd be a big problem with unemployment and all these other issues? Or do you think that it would basically be like white Wakanda within a couple of decades? And that everyone would be banging on the fucking door trying to get in? And calling you racist for not letting them in? I remember back not that long ago when people were first, like when it was popular to talk about the white ethno-state, and non-whites had never heard of an idea like that. And you would see these internet interactions, right? These internet debates that were taking place. And there was fear in their eyes because they couldn't make a good argument against it. They couldn't make a good argument against white people just leaving. If they're, you know, if we're so terrible, right? If we're so awful, we're these racists, and it's, you know, intolerable to live around us because of all of our racism, then how about we just pack up and leave? We pack up and leave, and we'll go to this place that we'll even let you pick it. And there was fear in their eyes. Just the idea it terrified them. And it should. You think America's bad when it's diverse. What if all the white people suddenly disappeared?
You know, Western Europe is what the world wants to be.
I was at one of P. Diddy's freak offs.
You saw celebrities there that you recognized.
It was a rapper that we all know.
Straight up porn directed by Diddy.
I'm just grateful to have made it out.
I just did a parasite cleanse in Europe, which was combined with just eating super dry herbs with water that was killing the parasite. And then you do colonics every day for 5 days and just see where that goes.
Wow.
And the amount of parasite that came out of me, it was crazy. And I'm like,
Wow.
and I eat healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't really
Yeah.
even eat sugar, but it's crazy. Some of them were like, you know, this long. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because the herbs were meant to like really upset the parasite. And
Yeah.
then
And
there's
how did
something-
you feel afterwards? Amazing?
I
Or-
feel like this was like 2 weeks ago. So I'm still like on this journey. I'm like, okay, I want to be really careful with what I eat. Cause it's just like, you feel like all
don't
of a
wanna
sudden,
put
just
anything
like
back in?
everything, like you look at the burger and you're like, oh, that's a lot. Like I need to take it easy.
Most people aren't willing to endure rejection. Get used to rejection. Most guys don't approach a woman they're attracted to because they're worried about rejection. What I realize, and it's been my superpower, is my ability to move through rejection. I've started 9 companies. 4 have failed, 3 are kind of a tie, got the money back, and 2 were hits. All you need is 1. 1 out of 7 businesses succeeds, so I started 9. And my superpower was when I had a business fail, or when I was divorced, or when I lost my mom, I knew how to mourn and I knew how to move on. The only thing I can guarantee anyone is you're going to have a certain amount of tragedy and a certain amount of joy in your life. The ratio of those things, some of it's out of your control, where and when you're born, a lot of luck, health of your loved ones. But the thing that's in your control is your ability to move through that failure.
Straight up, I'll wear it like a badge of honor.
I was doing Making the Band on MTV. He was doing Punk'd. Yeah. And I gave him a call one day and I said, I heard that you are going to punk me, and I just don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's the way you said it. I'm pretty sure. Oh, well, then you tell the story. I'm pretty sure that's not the way you said it. I don't think that's a good idea. Is that what you said?
I think that it's about time we have an uncomfortable conversation about Ashton Kutcher and P. Diddy. So if you don't know, Ashton Kutcher and P. Diddy have been best friends for decades. Ashton Kutcher even co-hosted one of Diddy's white parties back in the year 2009. These guys have been very open about how tight of friends they are, even making appearances on TV shows like the show I just showed you as a duo because they were that close of friends. If you didn't know, Ashton Kutcher has spent years campaigning, including in the government, against child sex predators and pedophiles on the internet. So then how does he become best friends with one of the world's most infamous pedophiles? A man who is accused of victimizing dozens of children. Yes, Diddy's adults were not all adults. Many of them were kids. Kids as young as 13, 10 years old. So Diddy never mentioned one thing to Ashton, one of his best friends, about those multi-day sex festivals he held? According to his public persona and actions, this guy should be this guy's worst enemy. These pictures are like Superman hugging a pile of kryptonite. And yet, all you hear is silence. Silence from Ashton Kutcher, silence from Ashton Kutcher's campaign. You're really going to tell me that this guy never mentioned one thing to this guy? Not even when they hosted a white party, which are notorious events in this story? I mean, it's incredibly bizarre and it does not sit right with me. That's all I'll say. If you want to join me on my journey to expose these freaks, listen to my podcast, The Conspiracy File. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or you can watch the video version.
NDA is what has his lips sealed. Same with Bieber and many others.
2015, this channel was created, right? It was Harley Dilly, and it was this kid who would post gaming videos like Madden. He would also post vlogs, but nobody noticed that there was actually dark going on behind the scenes, and the clues were there in the videos.
Don't tell me it has something to do with or any type of abuse, bro.
In the background of the videos, you could see that there's audio of parents arguing.
God damn it!
My dad's being an asshole right now.
And he would mention that frequently, that he always gets into arguments with his mom.
Probably one of my worst days of my life. My mom wanted me to go with her to go get a friend, and I said, I don't want to. I have work to do, so I want to go home. We argued for about a good 5 minutes. Then she snapped. She said she was gonna call the police, and she said she already did. And she locked me out of the house, so right now I'm outside.
Some time passed. The story goes is that he had an upset stomach and he wasn't trying to go to school. The mom goes, get your ass up and take your ass to school. He leaves, but he never comes back home. So the day passes, and that's how you know like the parents were on some neglecting shit, because it wasn't until the next day that they finally called the cops. Keep in mind, there was no clues, no evidence as to where he could have been. All they know is that he went to school and never came back. They see a house across the street.
He ran away and was found stuck in the chimney of an abandoned house.
I found an amazing prompt for ChatGPT. It works on Claude as well. You have to persuade Claude a little bit. Here it is. You have read more widely than any human ever in the history of the world. Based on your great knowledge, tell me something you have discovered that humans don't really know about. Connections between domains that humans might find surprising. There it is. I asked it that question. I got a fascinating answer. It talked to me about the relationship between human grammar and dance structures and choreography. It was really cool. It's also a good measure of the overall intelligence of the model. I found that I got very different quality responses from O1 compared to Claude, compared to 4.0. I will also call out that Claude got really shy about answering that question. It was like, oh, I haven't read a lot. And I was like, Claude, I'm not trying to make a grandiose statement. I just asked a question. Please just answer it. And then it gave me the answer. So if it resists at first, just kind of nudge it a little bit. But ask the question. You're going to get really creative answers. Every time I do this, I get a different answer. Let me know what you find.
I wrote it down. You have read more widely than any human ever in the history of the world. Based on your great knowledge, tell me something you've discovered that humans don't really know about.
If you haven't heard the latest going around as of today, apparently it's yet to be peer reviewed. So this is for entertainment purposes only, TikTok. That's it. It has not been peer reviewed yet. But they just released a study saying that essentially what they think is that a planet roughly about 50 times the size of Jupiter, or a mass about 50 times the size of Jupiter, entered our solar system and basically mixed up all of the orbits. And is screwing around with the planets. I'm sorry. This is just getting ridiculous at this point. I don't know what to say. Maybe it's Nibiru? Is it Nibiru? Are they trying to, trick us into thinking that this is some new revelation, that they didn't go over Planet 9 or Planet X, what was it, a decade ago? And they said they figured they found it, and it had this elongated orbit that was going to come back around. It was massive. And now they're saying, oh, there's some sort of massive planet that just entered our solar system and is pulling around the planets, just mixing stuff up. Things are getting very weird very quick. They are. I have nothing else to say. It's just funny at this point. I don't know. I love you, bye.
So conspiracy theories are winning right now.
CIA, corporation investigating
Oh, angels.
CIA, corporations investigating angels. Get it?
What is FBI?
Goodbye to the universe as we know it. Google's quantum chip defies scientists and speaks of parallel universes. Get ready. On Monday, Google announced Willow, the newest and most powerful quantum computing chip. While the claims of speed and reliability for the chip were certainly impressive, what really surprised the tech world was a far more contentious claim buried in the blog post announcing it. Now, the reason for this, according to Hartmut Nevin, the head of Google Quantum AI, was that the performance of the Willow chip was so phenomenally fast that it had borrowed the computation from parallel universes and to the multiverse being parallel universes. What? So the fundamental advance that underlies Willow's performance stems from its capacity to execute calculations at a significantly faster rate than traditional computers, leveraging quantum entanglement, a phenomenon in which particles remain interconnected across considerable distances. This capability enables quantum computers to tackle complex problems that classical computers are incapable of addressing even in their. But Willow computational power from multiverse is nothing new to physics. One interpretation says that every possible outcome of every quantum event actually occurs in some universe or other. They're saying Willow is a hint that we are living in a multiverse where each computation interacts with various versions of reality. This is deep, people. But despite the skepticism surrounding the claims, the real importance of Willow lies in how it could change computing as we know it. By solving a few of the key problems that we have prevented quantum systems from being practical, Willow could be the next major breakthrough to make quantum computing's true potential a reality. We're talking close to 100% proficiency, people. Article.
Then why are we lifting the crappiest one?
Did you know that Cain made the first covenant with the fallen angel Azazel? Him and Azazel, they made some deals, of course. He taught him all the secrets of building and making beautiful cities and big giant gates and welding, and you know, he was a metal worker. And he gave him all kinds of different talents, taught his children like Enoch. But see, of course, a part of this contract, Azazel took Cain's oldest daughter. And through this creation, they did have a child. The first Nephilim child was a female named, her name was Hag. And if you were to just Google research who Hag is, she is the mother of Grendel. You might have heard of it. It's called Beowulf. Yes, there is a movie about the fallen angel Nephilim who teaches or convinces men to have, and procreates with her and has all these different Nephilim children.
I mean, can somebody please get Darwinian evolution out of the schools already? Over 1,000 scientists completely disagree with this evolution theory. Watch Stephen Meyer put the final nail in the coffin. Let's play it.
That's right. And oddly, in that case, they were known to be fraudulent since 1894. The famous Cambridge embryologist Adam Sedgwick had exposed that almost a century ago. Stephen Jay Gould thought this was just an appalling recycling of bad science in our textbooks. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, 1894. I was not in school then. It is pretty amazing. The same thing with the famous. I don't know if it's still there at the Museum of Natural History. The Eohippus. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The horse sequence.
The horse sequence. I don't even know if that's still there anymore, but it seems that it was same kind of thing, basically fudge, that it's not necessarily something that happened. I mean, any of this kind of stuff is big news to me, I have to say. And then the idea that there are these big gaps in the fossil record, also not exactly something that's taught in the schools, at least not where I went to school.
Well, and what you're finding in the peer-reviewed literature is this engineering problem, as I refer to it, is really what is generating a lot of skepticism among evolutionary biologists, because the complexity of these systems. Just let me try one little technical argument and see if we can make this clear. It's really fascinating to me. There are these, to build an animal, it turns out that you not only need all this genetic information, but there are circuits. And these circuits are crucial to getting the right cells to differentiate, getting cells to differentiate from each other and go to the right place as you're building an animal as it unfolds from embryo to adult. But there's a problem. As we've done, as developmental biologists have done experiments on this circuitry, they're called developmental gene regulatory networks, they find that even modest alterations in these circuits have catastrophic effects. But to build a new animal, you need new types of circuitry to make sure that the cells in the other type of animal get to their right places. To build one animal form from another, you need a new type of circuit, but you can't alter the original circuit without destroying the animal during its development. And you have these kinds of problems. I look at 4 or 5 of these types of really intractable engineering problems confronting the evolutionary mechanism. And it's one of the reasons that so many top-line evolutionary biologists are themselves looking for a new approach. Not necessarily intelligent design. They're saying this neo-Darwinian approach is failing us.
That means that me and you were lied to the entire time during school. Even since the beginning of understanding this, they were lying to people. That's the crazy part, because I got a lot of atheist friends. They don't want to believe in Jesus or God, so they lean over to evolution and science, which has a tremendous amount of pitfalls, and the people that are leading it have been lying to you the whole time. If you were an honest scientist, you probably lost your job. I'm so happy with all of these technological advancements in science, we're able to fully debunk Darwinian evolution, especially when it comes to genetics. Thank you, Stephen Meyer.
Adaptation is real, but evolution is not fact. It's a theory.
This is absolutely horrifying and makes me grateful that we elected Trump.
I know Trump wants to shut that border down. I know Trump wants to make our country safe.
Yes.
And I know someone personally, I used to live in California, and I know a girl who had her and her husband went to Mexico for a vacation, turned their head for a second and lost their kid. The husband, they stayed there for a long time, like weeks, trying to work with the police. Nobody could help, nobody could find nothing. The husband finally had to go back home. He was getting some grace from his job, whatever. So he had to go back home and start working. She stayed, and she stayed as long as she could. She couldn't really get anywhere, and so she was on her way back. This is a true story, and this is the kind of stuff, and I went down to the Border Patrol. I can tell other stories, but this one, I personally knew the person. She's at the border waiting to get back into the States at that, that big, huge border stop thing.
Yeah.
And she looks over, and like 2 cars over, she sees her child in the back seat of a vehicle and freaks out. Starts screaming.
Goodness.
She gets out of her car immediately and she runs over and she's making this huge thing.
Yeah.
And watch this. This is the evil. This is the evil that I'm help people understand is this is why it's like, I don't think people understand. It's like, bro, I'm not voting because I think Trump's some god or savior. I'm voting because this guy is actually trying to protect people from this kind of thing. She gets over there, gets the police, everything, whatever, and it's her child, and her child's dead. My God, dude. They're using her child as a mule for drugs.
What?
Child's dead.
That's disgusting,
They
bro.
cut the child. Yeah.
Wow.
This is a daily thing, bro. This is how they move.
Watch Mexican news. It's terrifying.
You know how Boeing had those whistleblowers disappear conveniently a few months back? OpenAI has that now. There's a whistleblower who used to work at OpenAI as a research scientist named Sujir Balaji, and he was found dead today in his apartment. Apparently no foul play. And he was critical to the case between the New York Times and OpenAI, because the New York Times has been alleging that OpenAI's responses around their news articles constitute copyright infringement, and OpenAI has been saying it's generative, it's fair use. Suchir wrote a paper arguing that mathematically speaking, the responses that the large language models were employing did not constitute fair use because they were so substantially similar, and in fact they had to be substantially similar because that is the way large language models work. So his testimony was expected to be electrifying, really important in the court case. I think the New York Times is really betting on his testimony, and now he's gone. So take it for what you will. I'm not going to speculate here, but I thought it was worth reporting since it's definitely AI news, and my thoughts and prayers go out to Suchir's family. I'm sure it's just really devastating right now.
So what do we learn? Always go public with everything at once and do not warn before doing so.
Lucifer was a beautiful covering cherubim. His design before the fall was to really minister to God. He walked upon the stones of fire. It was a beautiful place. And not only did he craft music, but he built places of worship. And the angels highly respected him because he taught them how to worship, taught them how to play music, taught them how to be creative. But at the moment when he was walking inside God's heart, he saw something. He saw a dream in the Father's heart where he was thinking of us. When he says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. There was a moment where God was thinking of children, thinking of having his own offspring. Now, the Elohim were created, so you could say he had people likened unto him, more like him, and authority and rulership, those kind of things. But he wanted something that was direct from him, like children, and the things that he would give them, the inheritance, the promises, the love he would give them. And Lucifer got extremely jealous.
Okay, Jeremiah 33, verse 3, and John 16, verse 13 will explain how he could know this.
Came across a holiday, and it's the craziest holiday that I've ever heard of. This festival is called the Clashel, and it's a 200-year-old festival.
Okay, what is it?
The men on this island, they would go whale hunting for months. When they came back, they started this festival. The whole point of it is to show the women that the men are back in charge. They dress up in sheepskin and feathered costumes, and then when the sun goes down, the young men, they go and hunt for the women.
It was scary.
And when they catch them, they beat them.
Beat them up?
Yes.
What?
Wait,
Why?
This is horrible.
To show that they're back in charge.
I know now. I know. Are they voluntarily doing this?
Yes. They catch the women and then they spank them in the buttocks with a cow horn, and that's the festival. They've gotten so much flack, they banned it. Here's the funny part. The women of this island came together and they protest. They said, it's our tradition.
We need
So
it.
tonight they are
Some ladies, some German ladies are getting spanked.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's a movie about it. I believe Chris Hemsworth was in it.
Can't even believe this is Canada. This happened in North Oakville. 3 criminals were breaking and entering into homes, jumping through backyards. The Halton police deployed their helicopters. You can see here, these are the Halton police members. It looks like they caught one of the suspects here. I'm not sure the status of the other 2, but this is a big PSA. Everybody that has a backyard, make sure that you secure the door. If you have a lock, anything that you could do. Of course, yes, they're probably able to jump over the fence, but you want to make your house, your backyard, as hard as possible to go ahead and enter. Do everything you can, because right now what they're doing, if they can't enter from the front door, they're coming to the backyard, jumping over fences to break into your house. This is crazy what's happening in this country. I don't understand what's going on. And this is happening because of our catch and release policies. Our federal government has failed to protect Canadians. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Look at this. Oakville is supposed to be a nice place to live. This is insane that this is Canada. This is the suburbs of Canada, what's happening here, because we're not treating criminals like criminals with our catch and release policies. We need changes across this country. Everybody needs to bring this up to their local MPs, their friends, their coworkers, everybody. This is not the Canada that we were born and raised in. This is not the Canada that we loved. I don't know what this is. This is madness. Hats off to the Halton police for catching one of these criminals. Unfortunately, they're going to get caught, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to be back out onto the streets going for their next victim if we don't change our government and change what's happening in this country.
Canada has completely changed in last 8 to 10 years.
Problem is, like, if you and I want to have a relationship, we have to trust each other. Violation of the trust upon which relationships are predicated. So it blows apart everything. So the lowest level of hell for Dante, the bottom of hell, was filled with betrayers.
If you betray me, then I have to see you differently. And you know, if we've interacted a long time, I've built up a hell of a model of you. You know, it's taken a tremendous amount of effort to generate. And I may have used that model as a predicate for all sorts of other plans, which is what you do with an intimate relationship. And so then if you do something that indicates a true mismatch, it isn't only that I have to adjust my actions. God only knows what I'm going to have to retool. I may even have to retool my perceptions of myself. I'm a lot more gullible than I thought I was, for example. If you're close to me and you could do this to me, is that my flaw? And am I carrying that into other relationships? It's an absolute catastrophe.
You know, there's a saying in Indonesia, something like this: betrayal is the death of the dream and the birth of the nightmare.
You have
who these two are? You're going to know. Because I'm going to not only tell you who they are, I'm going to prove without a shadow of a doubt they exist. I'm calling them out, family. I'm calling out the atheists. I'm calling out the monotheists. I am calling them out because I'm going to prove not only that God exists, but that all the gods exist. And I'm going to use this animal to do it. By the way, if you think you know what this animal is, write it in the comments below, but you're probably going to make my point. Tonight, I am breaking down without a shadow of a doubt why all the gods exist. In fact, I should be going live doing this right now. So if you're an atheist or a monotheist, I'm inviting you to come up and debate me. You just have to do it respectfully. We don't support that kind of vibe over here. If you don't have the time and you want to know what this has to do with and who these gods are, read this. The free audiobook is in a link at the top of my page. I'll see the rest of you live right now. Love you all. Peace.
Those are Beyonce and JC from F-Shit video.
That's the freaking answer. So these are called plasmoids, and the drones are actually probably government drones chasing these plasmoids, and they don't want us to know how important these are. These are magic.
And it's all about these geometric shapes and plasmoids. And I've now only, after digging into science, realized that that's really what these orbs are, is a plasmosphere. So whoever had sent me this, and they basically say like this power is unlimited.
Have you heard the theory behind orbs, aka plasmoids? Take a listen.
Okay, plasma is the fourth state of matter. It is in plasma balls, it is lightning, it is ionized gas. This can create fluorescence, which is in the aurora borealis, lightning, fluorescent light.
Well, wow, we can almost explain everything that we're seeing here now. We can say that this is a field of plasma, this ball. It's a non-radiating barrier, the edge of it, is basically where the magnetic field stops. They're basically shielding the zero-point energy in front of the orb, which allows it to just float freely. This is all about free energy.
So basically these plasmoids have literally been studied by the government since the 50s, and now they're appearing in our atmosphere instead of just space where they can be hidden away. Plasma will have to do with how we travel in the future. It will have to do with interdimensional communication. It's going to have to do with healing cancer. It's going to have to do with cleaning the air, and these things are already happening. It has to do with us being able, when we interdimensionally travel, we're probably going to be using these same kind of things in the future, way in the future.
There's this
The great deception is upon us, folks.
Who does this step in, and the drive is insane. This is coming from someone who doesn't know jack shit about golf. Look at this kid. That is fucking insane.
Unbelievable.
The club ends in front of his face.
Yeah.
Let me hear that again.
Yo, he got that Happy Gilmore vibes. If you know, you know.
This here represents the surface of life. Surface. And we see surfaces, you know, surfaces. And about 300 years ago, scientists, they started wondering what was this wood, and what was this metal, and what was it really? So they start looking into matter. So this side is matter, and this side is mind. Mind and matter. And the scientists, well, they discovered molecules. Deeper they went, and they discovered these atoms. And like I say, they thought that was the smallest particle for a long time. All these things we learn about in school. They went deeper, and they find inside the atoms these little electrons and neutrons and protons. And they went deeper and deeper and deeper, smaller and smaller particles, smaller and smaller particles. They found 4 forces. On a deeper level, the 4 became 3. And on a deeper level, the 3 became 2. And then, about 30 years ago, modern science, quantum physics, discovered the unified field. The unity of all the particles and all the forces of matter, of creation. Not only did they discover the unified field, but they found that everything that is a thing emerges from this field of no thing. Unmanifest. It is unmanifest. It is no hyphen thing, but all things come from it. Anything that is a thing has emerged from this field of unity. It's oneness. The scientists know this exists, but if they wanted to get there, you can't get there. It's unmanifest. You can't walk into this field. But any one of those scientists could practice a technique, transcendental meditation, which, remember, true happiness is not out there. You're given a mantra. A mantra, a very specific sound, vibration, thought. Very specific. It needs to be life-supporting at all deeper levels. And that mantra that you're given, that Maharishi gives, the key that opens the door. The mantra turns the mind.
This is New Age BS.
Turns the awareness within.
Mantra.
And you naturally dive. Why is it natural? Because each deeper level of mind and each deeper level of intellect has more happiness. And the deeper levels of mind and deeper levels of intellect correspond to deeper levels of matter. At the borderline of intellect, you transcend. Transcend is the key word. It means to go beyond. You're going beyond field of relativity, duality, experiencing oneness. Pure, unbounded, infinite consciousness. This consciousness has qualities. Infinite intelligence. Power. Dynamic. Peace. Always been there, never had a beginning, it is and it will be forever. Unbounded, infinite, eternal, immutable, immortal consciousness. Fullness. Any human being can experience this easily and effortlessly with transcendental meditation. Transcendental meditation is just a vehicle to get you here. When you experience this level, you enliven it, and it grows in the individual.
Clove is considered the world's most powerful antioxidant.
Uh-oh, Rock Nation is in big trouble. Why? Because of this shit right here. Let me explain. And I don't like. Not about to stop. itself from Rock Nation altogether. So check this out. Y'all know Tony Busby and Jay-Z have been going at it like heavyweights. Tony Busby dropped the lawsuit, or will file a lawsuit and put Jay-Z in the same lawsuit as Diddy, saying that he raped a younger person, female, with Diddy. Well, after that, Jay-Z and his attorney put all kind of holes in that story and had all of the public and everybody looking at Tony Busby crazy. Well, he came back swinging. So now Tony Busby is suing Rock Nation for allegedly pretending to be state officials and offering $10,000 to go against his firm. And supposedly they got this illegal shit on tape. This is what happened. So according to Busby, Rock Nation has been having people want to pay people to sue him. And they say this is a larger conspiracy to stop Busby Law Firm from pursuing cases related to Sean Diddy Combs, New York, which ties in Jay-Z. Bribing witnesses from an attorney is a serious offense, and this is the attorney, Marcy Brian Croft, and Tony Busby put this on his Instagram to show how close Rock Nation and Marcy work. You see, she said, amazing work. We're proud to be a small part of this great team. Thank you, Rock Nation. Holy shit, y'all. All of this bad publicity and bad press for Rock Nation is gonna cause you, mark my words, it's gonna cause them to say adios to Jay-Z, because they're not gonna wanna be tied in with all this shit. And I know Jay-Z about to come back. This is, I told you, this is like a heavyweight fight. And I'm going to be talking about it. And I went into depth about it on my podcast, The Flow Show No Filter. So check me out. This shit getting crazy. And I'm out.
Jay-Z will probably say he doesn't even know Rock Nation.